Well, I'm glad you're doing well, Mr. Gibb. And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world today. But you're joining us for NXTGEN's Season 4 Round 6 today at Mount Panorama. And they most certainly have it all out on the line today. And I'm sure as many of you are aware, Mount Panorama, Deathhurst, he just scrapes the wall there in the McLaren GT3, is well and truly known for claiming its victims. Especially through the S's. Was most certainly truck with some action last week as well, especially, as I always say, racing is racing, and there's always things such as racing events which could turn the tide for the race championship, so you're never really out. And we've had a bit of a change of the top runners. It's most certainly close on points and all to fight for. Nicolo seeming to find his feet in the number 28 Lexus GT3 as he makes his way through the S's and down the dipper up to Forest's elbow, leading on to the Conrod straight. Alrighty. So as we wait for qualifying to begin for round 6 of the next gen season for GT3 World Tour, I can give you a quick lowdown on current standings and leading the next gen season for GT3 World Tour is the man himself, Lampy, currently in the pits, maybe making a change or two, or taking this time to take the break before the 3 minutes is up and the qualifying begins. But he is leading the championship with 92 points in the number 51 Ferrari there. And in second place we have the number 7 McLaren Kobe with 91 points, so only a point is separating Lampy and Kobe, so the McLaren and the Ferrari battling it out today. In P3 is the 909 AMG with 83 points, so there's 8 points separating himself to P2 there. And in P4 is Nicolo, currently with the fastest time in session, free practice, and Mamster taking P5 in the standings with 69 points. Hankin with 61, Hukan Lukan with 59. Audi would be somewhat of a capable car here at Bathurst. Maybe a little bit twitchy if a little bit too hot in some of the corners. Rear end being on the mid to rear axle there. Howdy doodle, Mugelina. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Nice to see you. Hope you've had a good day. Now entering the final minute of free practice. Into a dark Bathurst. Qualifying session about to begin here. Infamous Bathurst. Howdy doodle, Christian. Hope you're doing well, matey. Always nice to see you in chat. Coming to see what it's all about over at the ACC. God, camera guy working up there. Hey, Mikey! Absolute pleasure to see you in chat, matey. Thank you for popping in. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Bathurst at night should be a good one. Well, it usually is for the Next Gen boys. We most certainly always tread some incredible racing, and there is always some action somewhere down the line, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens today, especially with the boys fighting for position. And free practice session now over, drivers finishing their final laps. And Marco in the 408 Audi doing an incredible job there. Last one out on track, putting in the most effort there. And we get the green, green, green now for the qualifying session for round 6 of ACC Next Gen's Season 4 GT3 World Tour. And Hempy first out on track. Joining us from Britain, wearing his Nissan gloves whilst driving his most beautiful Ferrari of the Year award. Making his way up through the cutting. Maybe a foot away from the brick wall there at Bathurst as he continues to make his way through Brock's skyline and up towards the S's, and I wonder how many victims that is going to claim today as we begin to see the first car out on track, the number 99 Ferrari, Daniel Hempy, making his way up to Forrest's elbow, applying all of those horsepowers down. And of course you've got to be very careful on your first lap. You do really want to be spending most of your time, or at least some of your time, making sure that your brakes and of course tyres, which we all know in ACC are modelled, shall we say, appropriately. and so making sure we have the correct heat in them as we make our way up to the penultimate corners here at Bathurst. They're nice and ready for the beginning of the outlap as he makes his way under the liquid moly sign and up to the final Murray's corner into the left-hander as that V8 turbo sings its way down the start-finish straight. So first to complete his outlap, keep an eye on the number 99 Ferrari here, as we've got just over 17 minutes of a qualifying session left to go. Gnarly in the 460, McLaren making his way through the S's. Such a low grunt the McLaren GT3 has, and of course laser scanned cars, laser scanned tracks, modelled engines, modelled sounds. Really hear that low end grunt as it shifts through the gears and makes its way down the Conrad straight, completing his outlap. Hempy nearly halfway through Bathurst now, and the number 7, second in the championships, making his way across the start-finish line. Number 11, Mamster, yet to complete his outlap, as well as the 408 Audi of Marco. And Lampy currently leading the championship. Oh, what a sick drift that was. Through the cutting there into Brock's skyline and up to the S's, saving that Ferrari like an absolute boss. As he continues to make his way up to the Dipper and down to Forest's elbow. We've got the 99 Ferrari now going through the final Murray's corner, crossing that start finish line first on the board with a 2 minute 2 seconds .784. Next to cross that line we have the number 420 Porsche of Matev coming up to Murray's. Is he going to be first, or is he going to be second on that leaderboard? 1 second away. Lampy next across with his Tokyo drift moment there through Brock's skyline. Crosses that start finish line, .840 away from Hempy, but Nicolo crossing that start finish line and taking the P1 spot, a second and a tenth faster than the number 99 Ferrari. Like I mentioned earlier, Nicolo seems to be becoming one with his Lexus. And the number 7 crossing that line, taking third position, the number 492 in Mr. P. Gibb. Hello good sir, taking 6th position in the number 492 Bentley. 52 crossing P5 460 next to cross of Nali. 3rd position, putting Kobe in 4th position, half a second, and over half a second separating Nali and Kobe in the identical McLarens there as they continue their barrage. 25% of this qualifying session is now over. The number 408 Audi of Marco coming up to Murray's, yet to put a time on that leaderboard. And second place, 0.2 of a second, separating himself and the number 28 Lexus there for round 6 of Next Gen Season 4 GT3 World Tour. That's an incredible effort from the 408 Audi there. Up and through Murray's a very stable Porsche, and that's 4th position for the 420 Porsche there. We've got Lampy and Nicolo both making their way through Murray's there. Lampy first across, currently P7. Now P3. And Nicolo not quite able to capitalise on his 2-minute 1.5. 8.7, Lampy a 0.7 away from Nicolo, but Marco in the 408 Audi with a rapid time there, just getting into grip. So tyres are going to be up to temperature, drivers are going to be in the zone now, so we should be seeing some pretty decent times, but never keep your eye off that scoreboard, as it always changes even to the last seconds and the max wait time. Marco next to cross, but unfortunately a little bit too much oversteer as he makes his way through the chase there, so that's going to be his lap time out of the window. But one to look out for is Misha to put a time down in the 909 Mercedes. Most certainly one to watch here today in the Mercedes AMG GT3 as he hurls his way down to the left-hander of Murray's. Yet to put a time down. Where is he going to go on his first lap time? A P1! Half a second now separating the 909 Mercedes to the number 28 Lexus. Half a second separating Mercedes and Lexus there. So we've got Mercedes, Lexus, Audi and Ferrari taking the first two grids here. Of course, provisionally as we watch the 909 Mercedes make his way under the Audi Sports sign. Nicolo next to cross, as is Samuel. And Nicolo, 0.231 seconds separating himself to Misha in the 909. Mercedes there. Incredible work. So Misha's going to have to pull something out here. This is nearly halfway around the track. Kobe next across, that's that finish line. And only 9th position and making his way into the pits. Jamo in P12, the number 492. P11, Mr. Gibb in the Bentley, and the 52 is now P4 as he crosses that line in the Ferrari. And so next to cross is... oh, that's going to be another outlap back to the pits for the Mercedes. Now, of course, Kobe is one to watch out for today as we come to the 50% way mark. Yeah, I hope so, Mikey. I really do. It's they're a lot more raw, aren't they, on here? But we'll see what GT7 brings. But I'm with you on that comment. LED lights on as we begin to make our way up to the cutting. That was just in time. But of course, Kobe's one to watch out for. Only 1 point separating himself between the championship leader Lampy in the 51 Ferrari with 92 points. So we'll see exactly what he can do in the light blue and orange, infamous, somewhat British McLaren colours there, as he makes his way up to the S's and down to the dipper, unleashing all of those close to 600 horsepower in that V8 turbo. Hard on the brakes, trail braking as late as possible, and then you want to be getting as early on the gas as possible there, but of course too early and you will receive damage with that big concrete barrier welcoming you with open arms. So P10 for the number 7 McLaren, but 8 minutes of qualifying session left to go. 2.1 off Nicolo's 2 minutes flat. And 0.8 of a second now for the Speed Demon in the number 28 Lexus. Lampy next to cross that line, as is Hempy. Lampy now P3. Hempy still P6, third on the grid. And of course, Hempy in the number 99 Ferrari. Always surprisingly doing very, very well, working his way through the pack. Seemingly caught up in a few incidents at the beginning of the green for the races, as it is with racing, but nevertheless, we'll see what he can do today at the infamous Deathhurst. And Mr. Gear making his way through Murray's corner, crossing that start-finish line in the 492. I've seen that Bentley livery before, but that's pretty awesome livery there. The 492 Bentley, gone for the yellow LCD, LED. As he makes his way up to the right-hander of Griffin and hurtles his way up to the cutting, and I think we can just see Luckham there in the number 52 Ferrari as he exits the cutting there and makes his way up towards Brock's skyline. .2 of a second separating them. Both crossing that start-finish line, and he's took 0.2 of a second off, but he's still 0.051, 5,000ths of a second separating the AMG and Lexus, and the two Ferraris taking up the second grid here provisionally, with just over 5 minutes of a qualifying session left to go as we watch the Mercedes make his way under the Audi sports sign and up towards Griffin corner, maximising the track, making sure that car is as stable as he can possibly make it, getting as much traction as he possibly can through his softs. And up towards Brock's skyline. Yeah, I think when you're talking about real simulators, Gran Turismo doesn't really, it's not in that bracket. It's a simulator, but it's just not a real simulator. And that becomes very, very apparent as soon as you play this game. It's more user-friendly and a lot more fun and enjoyable perhaps, but the 909 Mercedes slipping up through the chase there, but nevertheless still holding on to P2. Still enough time to get out there and get one more lap done with his outlap and warm tyres. The 99 Ferrari making his way through Murray's and crossing that start-finish line. Can he improve? No, he cannot, but still a solid 4th position, a .966 deficit away from the very fast 2-minute flat .8. the 909 Mercedes just making his way out the pits there, as the number 5 Ferrari of Wilco makes his way under the Audi Sport sign up to the right-hander of Griffin. Now maybe Misha can use a little bit of slipstream here, but it appears as though he's letting him through. He's going to need the outlap completed to warm them tyres up for a final assault. Sorry, still in P1, mixing him and Nicolo. Nicolo 5 thousandths of a second. Down to Comrade straight. Very easy to lose it there if you're turning in a little bit too much. Unbalance the suspension at such high speeds. Nevertheless, that is why we love racing, being on that edge at every given moment, pushing for the fastest lap times that we can possibly achieve within ourselves, as we come up to Hell's Corner. And into the pits. Wilco next to put a time down. He makes his way through Murray's Hills, his way past that start finish straight. Number 11 of Mamster on his outlap. Number 408 of Marco in P4. Second grid. Only a .798 away from Misha's very quick time in the 909 Mercedes. 25 seconds of a qualifying session left to go as we make our way through the chase and up towards Murray's Corner. Under the Liqui Molly sign goes the Audi GT3, hard on the brakes into the left-hander of Murray's. Can he improve on that .798 as he crosses that start-finish line? And yes, he can. I like them numbers. It's a .639, shaving some time off there, but nevertheless not able to take a P3. And Lampy now putting Nicolo in the second grid slot with a .027, meaning Nicolo now pushed from first to the second grid. Continue to watch the 909 Mercedes AMG work his way up through Bathurst. And of course we are here at night, which will play an effect on temperatures. 9 degrees of course here today. It's not like he can improve on spot, but he can improve on time, crossing that start-finish line and not quite able to improve on that time, but still able to hold off on P1. So quick photo of that, and Marco last out on track free practice and last out on track for qualifying. Got a minute and 30 left to go. Should be a fun race. See if I can gain some spots. Says who can, Lucan. Most certainly, mate. We are at Deathhurst. I'm most certainly expecting to see a few deaths today, as much as I don't want to say it. But of course I do wish you all the very best as the 408 Audi crosses that start finish line, still in 4th position, a 639 away from Misha's 909 AMG. First position of a 2:08.825. I've got Mr. Gibb there, just to the right-hand side of Nicolo in the Lexus there, taking up the front of the second grid. Really looking forward to this. Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one to say the least. Oh, could just see Lucan. Oh, he's gone back to the pits. As it gives everyone a flash watching over YouTube right now, as we wait to begin the green for the first outlap, where the drivers will be using that time to warm up their softs, Pirelli softs, here at Bathurst with only 9 degrees temperature. So that's and track. And of course this is most certainly going to be an exciting one. Most first laps are always very exciting, sometimes going 3 if not 4 wide into Hell's Corner here as we get the green. Hello Dougie, hope you're doing well my friend, thank you for popping in, great to see you of course. And so Lampi taking P in the Ferrari, leading the championship with 92 points. And Kobe with the number 7 McLaren with 91 points in P2, 1 point separating himself from the championship position. And MVGT is in 3rd position. He's currently in provisional bronze place with 83 points. And underneath him in 4th place is Nicolo, currently qualifying 4th. And in P4 in the championship with 74 points. 69 points going to Mamster. Lucan with 59. I can see Kobe on the 3rd row next to Hempy in the pink Ferrari. Lights on for one of the drivers. Lights on for Lampi. And all drivers now with the lights on as we are getting ready for the green for the formation lap of round 6 of the Next Gen Season 4 GT3 World Tour. And away we go up towards Hell's Corner, and all drivers will begin to maximize heat and brake temperatures, making sure they are within. Maximum operating temperature, because of course you need it to be in that window to get the maximum out of that car as they hurl their way up towards Hell's Corner for the first time and down the mountain straight, in which we see all cars now begin to make their way into the right-hander of Griffin. Such a beautiful sight. I think we can all agree GT3s at Bathurst. Getting a shot from the helicam. Polo, we have the Ferrari, the McLaren, another Ferrari, McLaren, and of course a Mercedes leading the pack through Mount Panorama here. And up towards the S's. The stars are out. And up to Forest's elbow. We've got the UV lights on as we enter a very exciting night race here at Bathurst. And of course, points are most certainly to fight for. Drivers having to fight for position through an hour's worth of racing here, and not only that, they have to keep their car in control. Most certainly maximizing tyre and brake temperatures here as they come up to the chase. And my good God, are we going to be in for a good one today for the race start here for round 6 here at Bathurst. We've got Mercedes versus Ferrari versus Lexus versus McLaren, all on the first 3 grids. And Hempy going Tokyo Drift there. Lining up in the Noah's Ark formation as they make their way up to Murray's Corner for the final time of the formation lap, and we are going to get that green for round 6 of NXTGEN's Season 4. And there we have it. We have the green Ferrari, Mercedes, Lexus hurling the way up towards Hell's Corner. Mercedes still able to hold off onto P1. Ferrari in pursuit. The Lexus in P3. Ferrari unfortunately just going off through Hell's Corner there. We'll see whether we can make up some positions there, but nevertheless it looks as though Nicola is well and truly on the back end of the Ferrari there as they make their way up towards Griffin's. Ferrari still in P2, we've got the Lexus still in P3, Kobe in P4 go side by side with Hempy. Hempy taking that position away from the P2 in the championship. Kobe in the number 7, McLaren is now chasing Hempy. Samuel in the 21 Ferrari. In pursuit of the 52 Ferrari of Lucam. All very close and one truly within slipstream range there. The Porsche very nearly just clipping and welcome himself to that concrete barrier as the cars there begin to make their way under the 7 new sign and up towards the S's. We've got the Ferrari hard on the brakes there into the right-hander, hard on the brakes yet again, left-handed nearly going into the rear. I'm showing that under the control, but look at how close this racing already is between the two Ferraris as they make their way up towards the left-hander of Forrest's elbow. Half second now separating Misha and Lampy, but in slipstream range is the P1, 2 and 3. 1.3 seconds now separating them, and the 420 losing position to the number 11 Audi of Mamster is doing that side by side with Lucan now taking that position. He's now going side by side with the Porsche, and the Porsche losing out to 2 positions there through the Conrad straight and up towards the chase, but nevertheless they made their way up towards the left-hander of Murray's. Mamster having to make his way into the pits. Mamster with some more unfortunate events, and Lucan running wide through Murray's corner, and the 420 taking that position back away. Making away through Hell's Corner, but look how close the top 3 are still within slipstream range. Nicolo still in P3, a 0.7 of a second, separating himself to the number 51 Ferrari as they make their way up to the right-hander of Griffins, and Lampy well and truly within slipstream range of the 909 Mercedes, currently P3 in the championship. Lampy P1 in the championship with 91 points. P2 in the championship, currently P5, 0.4 of a second away from Hempy in P4. And up towards the S's, Mercedes, Ferrari, Lexus. Hard on the acceleration through the Bentley signs, keeping it left, waiting to get on that throttle and planting close to 600 horsepower there. We just see Hempy in the back of the camera shot there as they made their way under the Amarok V6 sign. Misha doing another incredible job there, nearly breaking slipstream of P2 in the championship, sorry, P1 in the championship. Lampy in the Ferrari there. And Nicolo putting that pressure on as they make their way up to the chase. Under the liquid molly sign and up towards Murray's corner, hard on the brakes. Mercedes looking like he's a very, very stable driver and able to capitalise on time there. Coming up towards Hell's Corner and already breaking free. Hempy now losing position to Kobe. Kobe taking a P4, and P4-5 will most certainly yield some brilliant points as the top 3 will be fighting it out for the duration, it seems, for the 2-hour race here at Bathurst. Look how close this racing is. The 420 going side by side with Lucan. Look how close this pack is. We've got the 492 Bentley in pursuit of the 460 McLaren of Gnarly there, making his way through the cutting and up towards Brock's Skyline. Lucan hot on the heels. Look how close this racing really actually is. Lucan breaking himself from Hempy, swapping positions. Samuel in the 21 Ferrari going through Forest's elbow and in P5, 2.2 seconds separating himself from P4 of Kobe in the number 7 McLaren. 1 point separates himself from P1 in the championships. in the number 7 McLaren as he makes his way up to the Conrad straight. Nicolo still in P3, Lampi P2. Lucan going side by side and taking position from the 420 Porsche, and Hempy in the number 99 Ferrari. A little bit of contact there, and it looks like the 420 Porsche just ran off from the chase there, but nothing too severe as they had on the brakes up towards Murray's. Nally a .555 from Matev. Oh, it's all changing here. Gibb now in the slipstream of the 420 Porsche and being chased by Jamo in the number 98 Ferrari. There as they all make their way under the Audi sports sign down the mountain straight and up to the right hander of Griffins, making sure they're just on the edge, unsettling the suspension on the curbs, maximising track width up to the cutting. Oh, Jamo a little bit too hot there through the cutting. Nothing too severe fortunately, but that's going to alleviate some of the pressure to the 492 Bentley. And Nicolo only a 0.3 of a second separating himself to Lampi, and 2 seconds separating Lampi to the 909 Mercedes there. Was certainly a contender for the championship. Already side by side, my good God, it's already kicking off between the Lexus and Ferrari. The Lexus is has gone side by side with the Ferrari, taking that position as they make their way through Murray's corner, and he's taking P2 from the Ferrari. Hard on the brakes up towards Hell's Corner. Different lines there, different engine setups. Looks as though the Lexus has a little bit of a better run there. That's some incredible action there. Nearly just going side by side up towards the chase, but just able to get his nose on the inside as they were making their way up towards Murray's. And that was enough to be able to make the move happen on provisional P2 of Lampi. Now see his LCD flash P2. And the 909 Mercedes is running away with it, so if he just has a nice clean race, he might be in for a nice P1 here. Kobe now in P5, 0.4 of a second, separating himself to Samuel in the 21 Ferrari as they make their way up to Brock's Skyline and up towards the S's. Nally making his way up to side by side with a 52 Ferrari down the Conrad straight as they are going up side by side towards the chase. Nally able to make it happen, but can he keep it stick through the chase? And it looks like he's made that move happen on the number 52 Ferrari of Luckham there. And hard on the brakes up towards Murray's. the look is perhaps suffering some damage, potentially. Looks like he's now potentially maybe going to lose position to the 420 Porsche. Dancing his way through the S's. Oh, just clipping the wall there. 420 Porsche, and he's giving the Ferrari a flash there. Able to make it happen as of yet, but eager to, it seems. So Lucan has now made his way up to P6. .731 of a second, separating himself to P5 on number P2 in the championship. Kobe in the number 7 McLaren, and another 0.2 of a second. And well and truly within slipstream range. And the acceleration out of Muller's corner in the slipstream range of P2 in the championships. Kobe with 90 points through Hell's corner. Looks like he's got a pretty good run here. And he's made the position on Kobe there, swapping from P6 to P5. Is now in pursuit of the next cars in line. down the Conrad straight. Lexus giving position there, looking like he perhaps has damaged out Nicolo. And Hukan Lukan taking 4th place now. Only 2 seconds separating Hukan Lukan from Lampi in the 51 Ferrari. And Hukan Lukan taking that position from Mamster in the number 11 Audi, and is now in pursuit. Of the number 21 Ferrari, who's chasing P2 of Lampi in the identical Ferrari 51. And Nicolo is in the pits, so there's some damage somewhere, unfortunately for Nicolo. Now, of course, something to think about, and something for Nicolo to perhaps even think about, is obviously with the tyre temperatures changing with ambient and track temperatures, sun beginning to rise. It might be a good time to get the repairs done, get some new tyres on, and set the temperatures to maybe claw some time back there and get some points on the board. And look how close this is. Nearly goes side by side. Lampi taking somewhat of a defensive line there. And Hukan Lukan will be loving this. Making his way up and nearly going side by side. 21 Ferrari just peeking his nose in there, letting him know he's probably going to make a move at some point. But Lampi's going to be loving this, lapping up some free time as the two Ferraris continue to battle it out as they make their way under the Audi Sport sign and up towards the right-hander of Griffins. Close you have to get to them barriers. Very, very intimidating track indeed. Feeling every single piece of the laser scan track here at Mount Panorama. Through the force feedback, exiting Forest's Elbow and up to the Conrad Straight. Lukan still just within the distance there. The number 21 Ferrari not quite able to capitalise on a move as of yet, but of course we do have a long road to go. Which is why, of course, the number 28 Lexus is well and truly not out as of yet. All drivers have to complete and the 909 Mercedes just coming out of camera shot there. Not too far behind P2 and P3 in the Ferraris, but still somewhat of a comfortable grip and a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane for the number 52 there. Lucan, he's working his way up ever so slowly closer to P3 of the number 21 Ferrari here as night becomes day. Track temperature won't quite be warming up quite yet, but as soon as the sun hits the track, we'll start seeing some fast lap times here. There might be some light damage there for the number 21 Ferrari. We'll have to see how he copes, whether he decides to make it into the pits and now get some new softs on and repair that damage. We'll have to see. Drive through for the 52. Still out on the track. Serving his penalty. Through. Serving his drive-through penalty. As all of the pit crews look on in dishonour. And look at him, a very capable driver, and we've still got an hour and 36 minutes worth of racing left to go. Just skip there. Exit shot in the 492 Bentley, making his way up to the right-hander of Griffin's. Under the 7 new signs and into the S's goes the V8 twin turbo Bentley. Such a low growl, making the floor shake as it goes past. That's for certain. Exiting Forest Elbow, unleashing all of those close to 600 horsepower as we make into the Amarok V6 sign down the Conrad Straight and up to the chase. ...276 kilometers an hour there. Certainly get the best sound as they pass the pit wall. Bentley, a very capable car, front engined and positioned to the rear of the engine bay, so of course even weight distribution. Samuel still in a Ferrari and Lexus sandwich. Lucan just making his way up, still a long way to go, no need to push as of yet, but P3 is well and truly within sights for the Lexus driver there, making his way to the Pirelli side and up towards the chase. Hard on the brakes into Murray's. You can just see the sun now beginning to rise over the mountains, so it's not going to be too far off until we have sun-drenched racetrack. And of course Bathurst is open to a public road as well. We're not being used as a racetrack. Lucan will be most certainly be excited. This one there is the Ferrari having to re-engage, allowing Lucan to go past. Maybe that was the damage there and previously caused, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe just driver errors. They're making his way up through Brock's skyline, but nevertheless Lucan, with the work that he's done, has now given him a third place position. But now in pursuit is of course the number 21 Ferrari as they make their way up to the Conrad Straight. And hard on the brakes into the left-hander of Murray's up to that start-finish line. And Lampy just entering Hell's Corner there, as is Lucan, perhaps even a potential P2 here for the Lexus driver in pursuit of the Ferrari. And perhaps even pulling away from the number 21 Ferrari there. Out of slipstream range, and 3.5 seconds separating himself from P2 of Lampy in the number 51 Ferrari, currently P1 in the Next Gen Season 4 Championships with 91 points. But 6.6 seconds separating himself to Misha in the 909 AMG. 14 laps in, and an hour and a half with the racing left to go. The sun now beginning to apply itself to the road. 13 degrees we have now, so up 4 degrees, and that will increase rapidly as that sun begins to get higher and higher to hit the roads of Mount Panorama. Nali now taking a position from Kobe, himself in 5th position, and Kobe in 6th. And so Mr. Gibb in the 492 Bentley under 5 from the 420 Porsche of Matev, making his way out of Hell's Corner up to the mountain straight. Making their way up towards Brock's Skyline, still in P8. 420 Porsche ahead, Kobe in the 7, McLaren in P6. 3 seconds now separating himself to the 460 McLaren of Nali. And Samuel now P4 in 21 Ferrari, Lucan P3. 0.9 of a second, and now separating himself to Lampy. It's all going right so far for the Lexus driver here at Mount Panorama for round 6 of the Season 4 Next Gen GT World Tour. Let's see whether we can take any more positions away from the drivers ahead. And up towards the S's. Down to the Dipper. They do have a back marker to contend with as well. We'll see exactly how that pans out between the Ferrari. Currently in pursuit is the Lexus, making the way to the Amrock V6 sign. And going side by side, but there's been contact, fortunately, into a big gravel pit there. Not too much damage conceded, hopefully, for the two drivers there. That's going to give him the 909 Mercedes an even bigger advantage now from P1 to 2. Which puts Nali in P3. Nicolo is P9. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that progresses for the remainder of the race. And so Kobe back in 4th position. 1 point separating himself from Lampe in P2. And only 9 seconds up the road is P2 of the 51 Ferrari. And maybe even with a little bit of damage, that could even give position to the 2 McLarens in P3 and 4 there, as is the case with these sorts of races. Jamo in pursuit of Mr. Gibb in the orange Bentley there as they made their way through the chase under the Liquid Moly sign and into the left-hander of Murray's. I think consistency most certainly has something to say for itself. Some drivers here make their way through Murray's. You see the laser scan track and the bumps and the camber changes there through that straight down the mountain straight up to the right hander of Griffin's. Up to Brox. Oh, and the Bentley. Just losing the rear end there as traction begins to show itself. And of course with heat now becoming a factor in this race. Obviously tyres are set to specific temperatures to work in the specific temperatures to provide specific tyre temperatures. We've gone from 9 degrees to 18, so we've nearly doubled the track temperature, which will of course be heating up their softs more than they would like, perhaps even overheating. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some drivers begin to make their way into the pits soon, maybe a few more laps out on track. So many pit stops the drivers decide to make today. Five seconds separating Nali to Lampe, 2.8 separating Kobe to Nali. Misha 19 laps in, 15 seconds up the road from P2, separating the Mercedes and Ferrari here at Mount Bathurst. And Nicolo back out on track in P8, but also in pursuit of the 909 Mercedes race leader in the Mercedes there. Into Hell's Corner. down the mountain straight. Nicolo, perhaps with some fresher rubber and better temps, seeming to have a more stable, more traction, I guess. Very, very technical section through the S's and down towards the Dipper. Both front-engined cars. Mercedes perhaps more race prepped, but nevertheless the Lexus had an incredible amount of work done on it. Bring itself up to a championship winning GT3, but the Mercedes is most certainly a championship winner across many GT3 class around the world, including the British GT, International GT World, showing its success everywhere. Plenty of camber to use there. And you can definitely tell that Nicolo is definitely running the better tyres. Misha just clipping the barrier through Forrest's elbow and giving a position to Nicolo, but of course Nicolo is having to work back through the pack. Seemingly able to now pull away from the Mercedes as he makes his way through the chase and up towards Murray's. Alrighty, so Kobe's back up into 4th position. He's only 4 seconds away from Gnarly. Makes his way down the mountain, up towards Griffin's. Just see Gnarly just ahead there in the identical purpose-built GT3 McLaren. I would assume that tyres are most certainly beginning to play the end of its life here, especially with temperatures now beginning to rise. See the McLaren make his way through the left, right, left, right, left, right, left of the S's, Dipper and Forest's Elbow, and onto the Conrad straight. Now a 5-second gap between P3 podium position. 909 Mercedes still out on track, 23 laps in, and holding on to P1. And all drivers begin to spread their way out. Although we do have .909 still actually keeping up with Nicolo there in the Lexus. As they make their way down the Conrad straight up to the chase. Giving that position back.
Pit window is opening.
Pit window now open. So we've got 20 minutes of a pit window, or is it open for the entirety? Nevertheless, number 5 Ferrari allowing the number 21 in P6 to make his way through as they go through the chase. And in the pits for Samuel, Mamster and Jamo. As Mr. Gibb makes his way past that pit wall. Down the mountain straight, out on the brakes into Griffins for the P7 492 Bentley of Mr. Gibb. There's new tyres for Samuel and Mamster. Jammer is still in the pits, and Nicolo now in the pits. Some new rubber on. Number 7 McLaren making his way past the pit wall. And the 420 Porsche now in P5. Howdy, little Dirky Dirk. Hope you're doing well, matey. Always great to see you, my friend. Closing in towards the halfway mark. Jammer back out in the pits and in pursuit of the 492 Bentley. We've got Lampy, Nally and Mish still in podium positions, yet to go in the pits. The 909 is making his way up towards Murray's. Still not opting for that pit window yet. Maybe he'll do another couple of laps before he decides. To make his way into the pits, and yet again friends with the number 28 Lexus Nicolo. Nicolo P7, new rubber on, and the rest of the team yet to change their tyres. Howdy doodle Simon, howdy doodle Neil. Great to see you both, thank you for joining in, thank you for popping in. Looking cool in blue. Nicolo makes his way down the Conrad straight in pursuit of the 909 Mercedes. Still left to hit that pit. Hard on the brakes, just around 150 meters and through the chase. Hard on the brakes into Hell's Corner, and the 909 Mercedes running a little bit wide there as they go through turn 1 of Hell's Corner, giving the run to the number 28 Lexus as he makes his way down the mountain straight and up towards the right-hander of Griffins. Kobe working his way from 6th to 4th position. Lexus working his way up towards the chase as the AMG is first to go through. Through Murray's crossing that start-finish line for the 28th time here today as we're very close to closing in on that halfway mark. Pit window of 11 minutes left to go for the drivers out on track, including the race leader in the 909 Mercedes.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
Degree. 28 degrees on the track temperature was a massive increase from the previous 9 degrees from the race start at night time with the stars out. So there's going to be some new Pirelli softs there for the 909 Mercedes, just passing that halfway mark here at Bathurst for round 6 of NXTGEN Season 4 GT World Tour. And that's a pit stop for the 420. Number 5 in the pits. And Luckham and Mr. Gibb are yet to pit. Mr. Gibb working his way down the corner straight up towards the chase. So we've got the 909 through Griffins, up to the cutting. Gnarly in provisional P1 in the 460. McLaren still left to pit. We've got Pete Gibb in the pits, and Gnarly now making his way into the pit stop with Luckham in the 52 Ferrari left to pit with 7 minutes left to go. Number 5 Ferrari exiting the pits there. And Hukan Lukan now a second behind P8 of Mamster. Mr. Gibb leaving the pits, going side by side with Jamo as they make their way down the Comrade Straight. Sorry, the Mountain Straight and up towards Griffins there. And Gibb with some new softs on there. Jamo just losing the rear end, coming a little bit loose, exiting Griffins there, giving a little bit of run to the Bentley as they make their way up towards the cutting. And only a second separating Hukan Lukan to the number 11 Audi as they make their way up towards the chase. Trying to get the most out of the track widths here in the Lexus under the liquid moly side and up towards Murray's. 5 minutes of a pit window left for Mr. Luckham in the 52 Ferrari. As the Lexus got a good run there though, 0.369. Separating himself from P8 now. Well and truly within slipstream range. Is he going to stick the nose in? It's not really an overtaking corner though, the Griffins, due to the amount of speed demanded on you. As you enter the right hand there and then made the way through the cutting and up towards Brock's skyline. Quite able to make anything happen of yet. Kobe 1.5 seconds away from P4 in the 420 Porsche, who's had a good day today, taking P4 now in the Porsche. 53 minutes of racing left to go before we bring season 4 round 6 to a close here at Mount Bathurst. Can Mamster hold on to P8? Lukan, they're well and truly utilising slipstream there. Line games perhaps even beginning to take effect. Mamster running a little bit wide there through the chases. They made their way up towards Murray's. Mamster going for the defensive line. And Hukan Lukan hot on the tail. Now going side by side as they cross that start finish straight and made their way up towards Helm's Corner. Mamster not quite able to hold on to that position. Hukan Lukan just ahead of the Audi as they make their way up towards the Mountain Straight, and that's perhaps a P8 for Hukan Lukan now in pursuit of P7. Nicola in the 28 Lexus. With 2 minutes of the pit window left to go, we have Lucam deciding to get them new Pirelli softs on. That's all the damage repaired, and that's back out on track into Mount Bathurst for the number 52 Ferrari as he exits the same time as the race leader in the 909 Mercedes. And Gnarly is out the pits but in P1. That can't be right. Is that right? How has he made that time? He is ahead. Gnarly in P1. Gnarly in the fourth McLaren, making his way towards Brock's skyline. 32 laps in is 14 seconds thereabouts ahead of the 909 AMG. And we've got 51 minutes of racing left to go. Perhaps the undercut worked there, but nevertheless P1, so we're going to have to keep an eye on there for the race for P1 between the McLaren and Mercedes. Lampi only 6 seconds behind the 909 AMG as well, and 8 seconds separating P4 to 3 and 5 to 4. So can Gnarly hold off 13 seconds between the McLaren and the rivaled Mercedes with 50 minutes of racing left to go here at Mount Bathurst? Everyone with their new tyres on. Wilco back in the pits. And the 460 McLaren crossing that start-finish line up towards the left-hander of Hell's Corner.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is closed. So that's under 50 minutes of racing left to go here at Bathurst. Absolutely glorious sound from the McLaren V8 there. Still 13 seconds separating himself between him and the 909 AMG. Exiting Forest's Elbow onto the Comrade Straight for the 33rd time today. Heading up towards the chase. Can he reclaim P1? Now 12.7 seconds separating him from silver to gold. Mr. Gibb finding himself in P6 in the 492 Bentley with Wilco in the beautiful white number 5 Ferrari there as they make their way up towards the cutting. 12.2 now from P2 to P1. And the 909 Mercedes with a little bit of an off, it appears there. Now swapping positions, going from P1 to 2 to P2 to P3. Lampi in the number 51 Ferrari taking P2 away from Misha there. So we've got a fight for P2 again now, and perhaps even P1 as we bring this race to a close. Laser scan tracks, pushing those force feedback to its limits. Interesting indeed. Anything can happen at Deathhurst. The question is, how is it going to play out as we bring the session to a close, as the minutes are ticking? Of course, inevitably will end. Who is going to take P1? Who is going to take P2 here today? Quite able to find the traction he wants there, and I do wonder whether the 25 degrees worth of a track temperature has gone down a couple, whether that's played on the temperatures set. It was 2 seconds, but that will change between P2 and 3 now, meaning Lampi in the run for P1. Just wait for the delta to update, but that has given the 420 Porsche a shout at a podium position there. In seconds, 18.3 separating P1 to P2, and 7 seconds separating the 909 Mercedes to the 51 Ferrari. Oh no, the 909 Mercedes, I don't think the tyres are quite set to the right temperatures. I wonder whether he'll go back into the pits and get a new set on, reset the temperatures and see exactly where he can come, whether he'll fight it out. But that has given the 420 Porsche P3, but he's staying out, deciding to not go for new tyres. Kobe now in for a shout for P4. Definitely an issue with tyres there. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself with this one, but that is the challenge with the day and night cycles. 24 degrees, so the sun is beginning to set. Maybe end up in darkness again. Maybe his tyres will come back into fruition then, but nevertheless that's now a P5 for the 909 Mercedes, having to run wide into the S's. really having the time of his life there. Back with his friend Nicolo in the 28 Lexus, seeing each other yet again here on track at Mount Bathurst for round 6 of the Next Gen Season 4 GT World Tour. Just over 40 minutes of racing left to go. Nali in P1, Lampi P2, Mateev in the 420 Porsche P3, Kobe now back up into P4, and the 909 Mercedes 2 seconds separating himself towards Kobe, but again having to take evasive action through the chase there. Nearly coming into contact with 28 Lexus. Fortunately, nothing much happening there, but he's starting to go to the pits. I'm assuming he's going to be putting some new tyres on, which is going to give him some fresher rubber, and hopefully the tyre temperatures will be more adept. But again, the tyre temperatures of the track is reducing. We're going from 26, 25, 24, now 23 within just under a few seconds of talking there, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this pays out. But nevertheless, Kobe P4. As he makes his way up towards Brock's skyline. Maybe not necessarily expecting a P4, but consistency is key. Like I say, this is a very challenging track, driving here for 2 hours with multiple factors: temperatures, tyre temperatures, worn tyres, fatigue, other drivers, and so many more challenges that are proposed to you in these races. Consistency would most certainly play out, and it appears that it's done that for the number 7 McLaren there, who is second in the championship to Lampi by a point, who's currently now leading, and Nali is now second position, 3.5 seconds now separating himself to Lampi, meaning there's only 6 seconds separating himself to P2 in the 420 Porsche. Nicolo now saying hello to Kobe in P4, Nicolo in P7. Some unfortunate events earlier on in the race. Well, it has to be said, we've had some incredible racing throughout the duration so far here for round 6 at Mount Bathurst. And we now jump on board with the number 28 Lexus Nicolo as he makes his way down the Conrad Straight, well and truly within slipstream range, and got a good run there as he goes side by side with the McLaren, and Kobe giving him that position, not really wanting to tussle it out. The liquid molly sign down into Murray's corner. take that P2 slot away from the McLaren? And that's the question as they make their way up to the left-hander of the cutting. That's a little bit of a loose end there for the McLaren, and is given the position away from the 420 Porsche, but the Porsche wasn't quite able to run away from Nally there in the McLaren, doing his best to make sure he didn't get caught up in any of the damage or spill. But that is a P2 for the 420 Porsche there as they make their way out of Forest's Elbow and under the V6 Amrock sign. He's going to be very happy with that one, but can he hold on to it for the remainder of the race? That is the question. Appears as though Nally is into the pits, which means Kobe, who's passing the pit wall, is now taking a podium P3 position here at Bathurst with 30 minutes of racing left to go, 25% of the session remaining. Makes his way up to the right-hander of Griffins. Mr. Gibb taking a P5, Nally in the pits, exiting the pits now, putting himself in P4. Gibb doing an incredible job in the 492 Bentley as he makes his way up through the chase, hills his way down towards Murray's for the 42nd time. Lucan in P8. And Lampy, after all that's happened, is now in P1, 43 laps in. 28 minutes of racing left to go. So we've got about 14 laps remaining. Mamster in the beautiful sounding Audi GT3, making his way through Forest's Elbow and passing the number 5 Ferrari, just allowing him to make his way past them and make sure he's not getting in the way of anyone. So, Lampy, P1, 51 Ferrari for round 6, also leading by 1 point to P3 Kobe. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's see exactly what the points say after these events that have unfolded today here at Mount Bathurst Panorama. Still pushing the Ferrari to its limit here at the demanding Mount Panorama as it makes its way up towards the S and the Nev 7. News sign clipping those apexes, make sure he gets as much of the track width as he possibly can, and still absolutely sending it in P1 here through down to the dipper into the left-hander of Forest's elbow, exiting onto the Conrad straight. Crossing that start-finish line. Lap 45. Nine seconds separating himself to Matev in the 420 Porsche. Now exiting House Corner. You can just see him there at the back of the camera shot. Absolutely rapid. Keep it up like that. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to hold on to a P1 here today as the temperature begins to drop. The sun is beginning to make its way past the beautiful hills here at Mount Panorama. With just over 23 minutes of racing left to go, we see him make his way up towards Forest Elbow. Not really having the best of second starts after his pit stop, and having an incredible first stint, seemingly losing out to tyre pressures, the change of temperature. But we now are very quickly and rapidly coming back into the dark for the 24 hours of Bathurst. And of course tyre temperatures will be a concern for all drivers today. Who will be able to handle them the best is yet to see, and whether that'll mean a change in position for a few drivers we'll have to see, and see exactly what that does to the scoreboards for round 7. All drivers seemingly in their own rhythm, bringing this event to a close with only 20 minutes of racing left to go, as we see the Mercedes make his way up to Murray's corner for the 47th time, crossing that start-finish line. Lampe coming up to a back marker now, and 9 seconds, now 8 seconds separating P1 to P2. See whether the 420 Porsche can somehow muster up a P1 today with just over 20 minutes of racing left to go. We've got Mr. Gibb in front of the race leader Lampe after 1 hour and 40 minutes of racing. 's skyline. Unfortunately, that was only a minor tap. A little bit of a flash there from Lampe asking to make his way through, and Bentley pulling over there, but unfortunately the Ferrari just clipping the back end as he was pulling back in there, but nevertheless nothing too much or too sinister happened. But now we have the 420 Porsche also make his way past, and a deficit of 3.2 seconds now separating the Porsche to the Ferrari with under 19 minutes of racing left to go. Can the Porsche pull 3 seconds out of the hat, get within slipstream range and make it happen for gold here today for round 6 here at Bathurst? 3.1 seconds. UV lights are back on inside the cockpits. Well, that gap seems to be closing ever so fast. And now hot on the heels of the championship leader Lampi in the number 51 Ferrari as they exit Forest Elbow up towards Conrad Straight. And Lampi going defensive. Not quite able to hold on to the Porsche. You'd have thought the Ferrari would have the legs there, but nevertheless that Porsche has taken a P1 from Lampi. Absolutely unbelievable. Incredible racing, incredible consistency from many drivers today. And it's not over yet, that is for sure. As temperatures will be beginning to drop. And the stars have come out as the 420 Porsche takes P1. Making his way up towards Mamster, flashing the back marker. Mamster conceding that position to P1, looking to take as much of an advantage as he possibly can with just under 15 minutes of racing left to go for round 6 of the NXTGEN's Season 4 GT3 World Tour. Lampi clearly suffering from performance issues there in the Ferrari, having to take the pits, which is he's going to feel that one very similar to the 909. Is both having to take pit stops at points that they really don't want to be having to take, but nevertheless that means Kobe has gone from P4 now to P3 and potentially into P2 now, already taking that position. Working his way back up into P6. As I mentioned previously, you're never ever out. It's, all drivers make their mistakes throughout the course of today's race, and so points of position of course matter, and it's not until you get to the end race and you are a point or two away from that position you really wanted, and you can think back to that race where you thought, well, I could have had an extra few points there, but nevertheless to concede towards the end. So it is all to fight for. Kobe back up into P2, silver podium position. McLaren taking P2 and P3 as Nali works his way back into a podium finish. Colo again seeming to find his feet towards the end of the race. And working his way into P5. Lampy P4. And only just up the road. So how interesting indeed it is for these drivers. Track today is an entire lap. Is that a lap? Yeah, we're a lap behind. Yeah, Lampy there, but nevertheless finding his feet and working his way back up through the pack. Lampy in P4 now. And the 909 in P7. Lucan in the 316 Lexus, making his way through the S's. Also behind the P3 of Gnarly. They make their way down the Conrad straight up towards the chase. Lucan get that position over Nally in the 460 McLaren. Exit the chase up towards the Nickel Molly side with just over 9 minutes of racing left to go. The 420 Porsche in P1, 52 laps in. We've got track temperature and ambient temperature of 10 degrees. Kobe in P2 in the number 7 McLaren. Nally in P3 in the 460 McLaren, and P4 now occupied by Lampy in the number 51 Ferrari there. Some unfortunate events having to make his way back into the pits, but nevertheless he's conceded those positions. Sound of the V8 McLaren and the V8 Lexus as well, singing in harmony as they make their way down the Conrad Straight. With just under 8 minutes of racing left to go, the 420 Porsche still in P1, 22 seconds, separating P1 from P2. Kobe 1 point behind Lampy in the championships, but 2 places ahead as we begin to bring this to a close. We've got 3 laps left to go. We'll see whether we get any more changes of position. It just takes one of the drivers to have a little bit of a spin. And there you go, different points on the table. Gnarly pushing very hard out of there through Hell's Corner into lap 53 of the Next Gen's round 6 at Bathurst. Exiting the chase, making his way up to Murray's 51. Ferrari exiting the chase. Five minutes, 55 seconds of racing left to go. And it appears as though the 420 Porsche has well and truly had a golden day today, taking a potential provisional P1. Just over 5 minutes of racing left to go. Lampy. Heading into his final laps now goes the 420 Porsche, making his way under the Pirelli sign and up towards the chase for the 54th time today. 4 minutes of racing left to go. Can he take gold today? Can he be on podium position? Dark Coyote in chat, you absolute legend, you enjoy your beer as we enter the final 3 minutes of racing. 2 laps left to go for the 420 Porsche. Can he hold on to P1 is the question, as the sun is well and truly under the mountains and the other side of the earth now, perhaps. Beautiful views of the street lit Mount Panorama. 420 Porsche also making his way through the chase. Not too far behind the 909 Mercedes or the number 5 Ferrari. As he makes his way up to the left-hander of Murray's. You see Lampy in the back of the camera shot there. Giving us a flash onto the final lap, led by the 420 Porsche. 56 laps in. We've got the number 5 Ferrari there. Lampy and the 909 Mercedes all grouping up for the final lap here for round 6 of Next Gen Season 4 GT3 World Tour, making his way down the mountain straight for the final time here, up towards the right-hander of Griffin's. Ferrari first to make his way into the left-hander of the cutting. The Porsche followed by the Ferrari of Lampy. The 909 Matte Black Mercedes as they make their way up towards Brock's skyline. Down towards the S's and into the dipper. 51 Ferrari though seems to be finding his feet again towards the final stretch of the Next Gen's Season 4 GT World Tour round 6 here at Mount Panorama, but it appears as though the 420 Porsche, as he makes his way down the Conrad Straight for the final time and up towards the chase, is gonna take a gold P1 as the clock comes to an end. He comes up towards the chase for the final time and heads through the right hand corner up towards the Liquid Molly side into the final left hand corner of Murray's corner, and that is gonna be a gold for the 420 Porsche. Do we get a flash for everyone at home? Yes, we do. We get a flash from the Porsche, we get a flash from Lampy as they bring it to a close. And Nicolo crossing that start-finish line. Kobe, though, taking a P2 as he makes his way through Murray's and crossing that start-finish line, giving everyone at home a flash, the absolute legend. And Misha next to cross that line. Very unfortunate events for him, but still, nevertheless, still a cracking race from the number 909 Mercedes, the number 5 Ferrari. Just having to jump out of the way there. Taking those positions are the next drivers, Lucan taking a P8 today, and Mr. Gibb coming up towards the final corner here into Murray's and taking P6 today, just behind Nicolo, and a P6 one position over Misha. Just showing what consistency can do for you there in the legendary 492 Bentley. And of course Mamster last to cross that start-finish line and bring a close to the Next Gen Season 4 GT3 World Tour round 6 here at Bathurst, making his way up towards the chase. And a big congratulations to all the drivers that have bring this to a close. Every lap you do is a lap faster, a lap closer, getting the neurons in your brain getting you faster and faster, but nevertheless bringing it to a close. We see the number 11 Audi of Mamster cross that start-finish line, and number 1 podium position gold goes to the 420 Porsche. Congratulations to you, good sir. Kobe with a P2 in the number 7 McLaren, and another McLaren taking P3. 2 McLarens on the podium today with the 460 McLaren of Gnarly, and Lampy, with again some unfortunate events, taking P4. And great fights with him and Nicolo as they go side by side. Nicolo taking a P5, working his way back up through the grid. Very well fought and worth indeed. Mr. Gibb taking a P6 in a 492 Bentley. consistency coming into play there. And Misha in the 909. Mercedes, very unfortunate events, having to set them tyres up, but nevertheless taking P7. That's going to be some good points. Lucan, P8, as he makes his way into the pits. And that is going to bring us to a close. So thank you to everyone that's watched. I do appreciate all your support. I thank you for everyone that's been in chat. And a big shout out to everyone that smashed that like button. It most certainly does help me indeed. Kobe doing what you would do best after 2 hours worth of racing plus qualifying. And Lucan also coming up to his name of Pit Connoisseur. Alrighty, well, we're going to leave Lucan to his brain aneurysm. And thank you again to everyone that's watched. Big shout out to the 420 Porsche. Well done to Kobe taking P2 after all that effort. And Nally with P3. And of course, we can't forget the rest of the drivers. Incredible efforts there. But we're going to leave Lucan to his beloved wall. Thank you to everyone that's joined in. And we will see you all next time. Thanks again.